Oh, wait, I've been on mute this whole time. I'm talking away, welcoming everybody. And then I've been on mute. And then I just got a message from Jeremy to say, Mark, can't hear you. And then this is how we roll.
Are we live? I literally just like joined the thing.
I know. No, we're live. We're live. Because, for example, Denise says hello. And then we got Farouk. He's here. Hello, 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 hello. Let's see. What does Alex say? Alex says, hi, Jeremy and Mark. Happy to be live here from Nigeria. Hey, let's go. I like that energy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look at Esther White in the building. What's going on? Let's see. Valdecir Correa. Okay, yeah. We love you, Angler Team. Hey, listen, Angler Team loves you as well. Thank you for your support. Yvonne, hello, hello. Oh, and behind the scenes, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Kevin Callanan in the background. Behind the scenes, making the stream as it does. So great. Nuno, hello. Good to see you. Gabriel, always here. Hiya, right back at you. So many people. It's so many. Let's see. Surafael, hello, hello, hello. Michael, Faith in the building. Happy Friday. Good to see you as always. Shumian, hello, 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 hello. Sohail, what's going on? Marcus, hello. Good to see you as well. Thanks for coming. As always, Ashish in the building. Siobhan, let's see. Anyone chat thinks to do programming every future after 10 years? I do. I don't think that I'm going anywhere. But all right. Let's see. Hello, Angular Team. Hello. I am muted. I know, Rufo. Thank you for saving me because I was not doing good. Everybody was telling me that there's no sound. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. There was one time at NGConf when it was remote over COVID where I wanted to know what the lag between the video and the chat was. So I'm like, when you see me, when I say pizza in the chat, when you can hear this, and so many people did it, it crashed the chat.
Oh, that's pretty bad. Oh, wait, we got some people in the building. Well, first off, RGB, hey bros, what's going on? Good to see you. Akshay, good to see you as well. It's so many of you. I'm gonna say hi to a couple more people, and then we got to keep the party going. Let's see, Santifano Arnold, good to see you from Kenya. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, Bezos from Hungary. Hello, hello, Kunal. Good to see you. Me too. Good to see you. Oh, this is so nice. How are you doing? I'm truly grateful to the Angular team. That's why I'm always here. Well, listen, we're really grateful for you because, as I always tell people, that a framework is only as good as its community. We can build amazing things, but if the community does not support it, then it would be all for naught. Jeremy, what are we doing today? What is the plan?
I didn't do a lot of prep for this. That's why I like doing live streams, just because I don't have to do very much prep. So last time we streamed, I did a little bit of live coding on a project that I'm working on, which is updating our pipeline for how we generate API reference documentation. And so I was planning on just doing some more of that, expanding this pipeline with a little bit more work. How's that sound to you, Mark?
That sounds really great. And then while you're doing that, I'll do what I usually do. Although, friends, let us know what you think about this, because I proposed this to Jeremy, that we could do some streams where we just did some like deep dives and experimentation together on some like topics, but nothing planned. We're not going to do like a live workshop. We're just talking about like, hey, let's do some like dependency injection experiments, help people really understand the different injector trees and some of the different parts. But we just like code and talk through it with you, answer questions, maybe even learn from you, because contrary to popular belief, I think people expect us to know every single detail about Angular. And I don't know if that's a fair expectation for anybody, really.
I know extremely little about the inner workings of Angular CLI. Oh, did Mark freeze? Oh, Mark froze. Did I freeze?
No, I froze. So I got to do something here. I'm going to switch Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi in my neighborhood is a little weird today. So I'm going to switch.
Oh, you got to get that hard line.
I need it.
Yeah. Just, it's not hard to run yourself. Like, I don't know what the layout of your house is, but I ran my own Cat 5 or Cat 6 from where my router comes in down to my basement. And it was a huge pain, but I did it. Oh, he's choppy again. Yeah. Technology. When are we going to get there?
Okay, am I back?
It's just my cue to hop in and
you're back.
No,
now.
you're fine, Kevin. Thanks for being there.
I'm out of here.
What I was gonna say,
just waiting in the wings, waiting for his moment.
Yeah, because he always has our back. That's why I love Kevin. I just switched to. That's why. No, so I just did something what I think is hard because I didn't know how to do it at first. So it seemed more daunting than it was. I had to fix my own toilet because it wasn't like flushing properly. And then no, it was flushing, but it wasn't the bowl wasn't filling up. And I went on YouTube and I started looking at all the basic things, and none of that stuff worked. And so then I had to be like an engineer, like and think through it, like debug. I was like, okay, what's happening? And it turned out that one of the valves on the fill valve was defective. Yeah, it was like gone. So it was dribbling water out as opposed to filling with water. It was just dribbling water, and it only happened after 2 flushes. Because if you turn off the water supply, turn it back on, it worked fine. 2 flushes, it didn't work. Long story short, I had to like change the fill valve, but then the water line was a hard line from the wall to the toilet tank.
Oh, that sucks.
And it was really hard to get it to work without leaking again. So I had to change that line. Again, for somebody who's done this before, not a lot of work. For somebody who's never done it, it was a pretty big thing. So what do I say all that? I am totally into doing hard things, or pain in the butt things to make my house better. And I will start investigating how to run some Cat 5, at least a part of the house. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
at least to the office. Like, I need a line to where my computer is.
Yeah. If you end up cutting drywall, this is a fascinating conversation for everyone who came to talk about Angular stuff. But if you end up cutting drywall, I definitely recommend getting a power tool to like cut it accurately. Because my approach was like, I'm not going to do very much. I'll just get like a hand drywall saw and I'll just like do that. I'll be careful. It's so hard. It's so hard to cut drywall accurately with a hand tool.
Would you use an angle grinder for that?
Oh no, that's way overkill. What I use right now is a multi-tool.
Like a Dremel?
No, the little oscillating multi-tool.
Oh, sure.
Blade on it and it just like oscillates and you can cut with that. But they have more specialized drywall cutting tools as well, where it's like basically good for nothing else and you just can like cut drywall like butter.
I would totally do that to make my life easier. Yes, so I want to look into that. The hard line. Yeah. Anyway, Jeremy, go ahead and share your.
Yeah, let me get my WebStorm instance over here. And we'll get
there was a joke that Kevin did. I don't think that we got his joke. He said that did you use an
angle grinder? Get it? Angle.
Angle grinder. I like how Kevin pops in and pops out with these jokes. Just use an angle grinder. Wow. Oh wait, were you ready? Were you ready to share? Man, I didn't even ask you yet. Okay, let me know when you're ready for your screen to be on the screen.
I'm ready.
All right.
So, actually, I should check out. There's another branch I had. Abstract.
All right, while you're doing that, let's check this out. Yay, I finally got to the live. Hey, guys, it's been months not seeing you all. Just joined to a new company. Congratulations. Very, very good for you, Josh Developer. Good to see you. Still in the loop with updates. Hey, I totally acknowledge you and appreciate you and thank you for being a part. I totally remember you, and thanks, Josh, for coming back. Congratulations on a new job. Everybody just put some big congratulations in the chat for Josh for joining a new company. That's pretty fantastic.
Cool.
RGB, you're from Mars. Hey, listen. We're happy to have you, though. Thanks for coming by. All right. While Jeremy is, let's share Jeremy's screen. While Jeremy's doing that, I'm start answering some questions. Jeremy's Patrick says comments on Bun 1.0. I will tell people this. Jeremy might have a slightly different opinion, but I'll tell you my opinion about how I handle these things. I keep note of lots and lots of stuff, just like it's a passive running process in the back of my mind. So when I saw Bun initially get announced, I knew what it was, but I had to spend a lot of time on it. But whenever I see something that comes around more than once, it's worth looking into. And I think for you, Patrick, if you're interested in what Bun has to offer as an alternative runtime for JavaScript, you should definitely check it out. and just see if it's a fit for what you need. And it's still very early, but I think if what they say is true about the performance improvements, that's really, really impressive what they've been able to do.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about what I'm actually doing before I start just doing anything.
Yeah, go for it.
So as we talked about, if you're here for like last month, I'm just writing some new pipeline for extracting API reference information from our source code. And so you can see here, I've got this extraction function that is like looking like, for classes, interfaces, functions, like extracting all this stuff. And so what I want to do today is type aliases. This might be a really quick one. Because type aliases are actually pretty simple from an API perspective, but let's go ahead and try it out. So there's a lot of guesswork, but is type alias declaration. Cool. I was hoping that existed. There's a lot of guesswork when working with the TypeScript AST because it's not documented. And so mostly you just type TS and hit the autocomplete and see what's available to you. There's a lot of try different things out and see. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new file for type alias extraction. So I'm going to say type alias extractor. I should use underscores here. Cool. And I should just have this as my new file thing. I need to put our license header in there. And then we're going to say export function extract type alias. And this is going to take a node that, we know it's a declaration at this point. So, and this is a ts type alias declaration. And I need to import TypeScript, right? Which I can grab from there. Cool. My font size is like super big for presentation reasons. And
I want to let you code for a few minutes, Jeremy, and just talk through it before we start chatting about questions and stuff. So just go ahead and kind of get warmed up and get into it.
Yeah. And so what we want to do here is then we have this entities here, which is like all of the different types of entities we're extracting that all kind of extend from this doc entry. And so we're going to create a type alias entry as well. So export interface type alias entry extends doc entry. And I think I'm just going to put type here, which actually just makes it identical to this constant entry, which I think it might be. So rather than doing that, let's try for now. Let's just say export type alias entry equals constant entry, because they're identical otherwise. And we'll just add a little comment here for a type alias. Cool. So yeah, it just has a name and a type, and that it really doesn't have much else. And so we should be able to return. I'm going to go to my constant extractor here, and oh, see, this one's more complicated, but I am going to just grab this return statement because I'm returning all the same stuff.
That's satisfying keyboard click, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. You know what?
Actually, keyboard is nice.
I don't know if my video is up, but I'll show off. I just got a brand new mechanical keyboard here. I have not set it up yet. I'm going to put different keycaps on it, but this is a new, what was the brand? I think it's called Lumo Key.
Very cool.
I'm very excited about it. I'm happy to have the little knob here for volume control, because right now I've been doing volume control while playing a game with my Stream Deck, which is a little clunky. Cool. But yes, the new one is quieter, so you can hear me typing on my keyboard now, and here's similar on the new keyboard.
Okay.
It's quieter. This is the ASMR people tune into us for.
That's right. People like this, Jeremy. Okay, so here's a relevant question to what you're doing right now. Is this something that any library authors will be able to use to document their public APIs?
Not for the short term. Right now, it is just It's just for Angular. We are writing this code though in Angular compiler CLI so that in the future, if we want to open it up, we would be able to do that. Also, what is this needs to be relative, not absolute. This also is. This is what I love about WebStorm is I could just like it has these refactoring actions where I can just say like change this to a relative import. I could say
We get it. You love it, and I don't. I can't help you.
I could say optimize imports, and it just like reformats them for me and sorts them. So beautiful. So we need our type checker here in order to get the resolved type for this. I'm also going to pop back here and actually I'm just going to like grab a lot of this. You want the basic? So I'm going to just grab all of this from constants and then remove the parts that I don't need. So yeah, we don't need this. So I think we can just get rid of all of that. And so for the type here, I think we can just say declaration.type. And we'll test that out later because I'm not sure it will actually get the fully resolved type. The raw comment is going to be for this declaration dot. I think we just passed declaration there, yeah. We don't have a variable statement. So let me refresh my memory of what this extract raw JS doc does. So it's get just comments fine is yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's some weirdness about grabbing the JS doc block for a thing, and I just mentioned earlier for getting that. So we should just be able to get that. I don't need this as a variable, so I'm just gonna put that there. I think for comments, for constants, it was a little more complicated. So yeah, name is a declaration name. We have the type. The entry type is type alias. Raw comment we're getting, description, and JS tag. So yeah, that should actually really be it. And a little say here, extract the notation entry for a type alias. I always add JS doc comments even when they're simple like this, just because it's nice to be able to get that in your IDE and in your auto completion and everything. And hopefully it's that simple. And so we'll go back to our main extractor body here. And where we have our if statements here, we can now just say return extract type alias for this node. And type checker. Cool, that works. Maybe we don't need the type checker. We'll see. We might need it later if we want to do a fully resolved type. And make sure it didn't do anything weird with my imports. Oh, it did. See, I want this to be a relative import. Yeah. And I can optimize imports. Cool.
Is this how you normally work, Jeremy? Like at this speed of like flipping through menus and screens and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
So fast.
Does everyone not?
I don't know. I don't know what I do. I honestly don't know because I've never watched myself work. So I might do the same thing. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna answer some questions while you're doing that part. All right. So how to make Angular more scalable? This is a super broad question, Sahai. And so there's so many different things you can do. If you get Angular v17, one of the things that can help with your performance is the way that you could defer loading of large components, for example, through our new declarative and prefetching like APIs and the templates, stuff that I'm super excited about. And then there's just so many different things you can do. What we could do to help though from here is there's a video by Minko Getchev from the Angular team. He has a tips video on like performance and scalability. Check that video out and see if you can get the answers that you seek. Let's see what's happening. So Raphael says, dreaming of Angular becoming a mobile platform like React Native, your dreams have already come true, Raphael. There are so many options. Well, two main ones that I can think right now. Well, three. If you want to do a mobile platform, we already have support for PWAs that's built in. you can just use that right now. The second thing you can do is you can consider something like Ionic, which you use your same like kind of web views, what they call like web native code that just works on your web browser, and then you can do a wrapper and deploy it to app stores. But if you need even more, you want to do, you can also use Native Script, which they are doing some really special stuff. I saw a really cool demo with Native Script over the week that they had an Apple Vision app already. They already have the APIs for Apple Vision right now that you can just start building stuff with. It's really, really incredible stuff. So your dreams have come true. But if you're waiting for us to do it as a first party, you're going to be waiting forever. We're not doing that. Jeremy, can I say that? Well, I guess you can never say never, but at this point, there are no plans for the Angular team to create a mobile framework like React Native.
No, that's not something that honestly is like really in our wheelhouse even, right? Like we are a bunch of web developers and we don't have expertise in mobile development. And so we'd be stretching into an area that isn't really in our core competency. And we think we still have, a lot to do to continue improving Angular as a web framework and focusing a part of that story is also the mobile web experience as well, which we think is a great way of building mobile experiences. So not something native, but definitely focus on improving the web experience.
Yeah, so great. And like I said, Ionic and Native Script are two very solid options if you don't want to just do mobile web. Those are very good. Mark approved. Let's see. We got so many questions. Jeremy, you have to answer this.
Which one?
Aguilesh says, can we expect Angular signals to be stable in NG17?
You'll see soon. What I can say is we're working very hard on signals. It's one of our biggest focuses right now, and also working on the control flow stuff that you've seen RFCs for. But yeah, you'll know when it's released.
Okay. Love the new control blocks. Yeah. What were the pros and cons to choose the @syntax versus hash besides it being more familiar to .NET developers? Mario, this is a good question. And it wasn't really, it was evidence-based more than it was like our gut feeling. Like we didn't just we actually put our gut feeling out there with the hash, and the evidence that we collected from surveys and studies said, no, it's not what the streets want.
Yeah, this is definitely look at the Angular blog, and Alex Rickabaugh has a whole blog post about this. But one of the things we're trying very hard to do in the way we make decisions on the team is to make evidence-based decisions. And so for the control flow, we initially had this the syntax in mind that was, braces with a hash in it, and then like colons and slashes for different segments. And we got some suggestions during the RFC about this @syntax, and we took those suggestions seriously, and we included a question in our Angular developer survey. We sent out a survey to Google employees who use Angular, and we actually ran a user experience research study testing between the two syntaxes. And what we found across all three is developers have a very strong preference for the @syntax. And in a magnitude that was just kind of really undeniable. So we changed our plan and went with the new syntax.
All right, let me ask some more questions. Jeremy, you could type. I know you're trying to get some stuff. So
yeah, I was waiting for Yarn to finish installing because I forgot to Yarn install before we started.
Oh, okay. In React, component tag does not appear in the DOM, but in Angular, the template comes inside the component's wrapper. How to render component without the wrapper? Jeremy, know about that one?
You can't.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
do that in Angular. All Angular components have a host element. What you can do is use ng template, the template fragment syntax, in order to create a reusable chunk of template and render that somewhere. And that doesn't have to have a host element. you can use ng container as an element that does not render a real DOM element as kind of a host or an outlet for that template fragment. But in terms of creating a component, there's not actually a way to do it. Every component has a host element. And that was kind of an intentional part of Angular's original design, because Angular was inspired, like there's kind of this circular inspiration going on here of Angular. This is the way AngularJS worked, of like everything was a real DOM element. And then the web components, like specifications and like Shadow DOM and custom elements, they drew inspiration from what AngularJS did. And then Angular built on top of obviously AngularJS, but also trying to like align somewhat with the custom elements spec in standard space, and say like, okay, like an Angular component is like defining a custom HTML element. And that was kind of the design intention behind it. I think going forward, as we go into 2024 and further, this is something that we are interested in potentially revisiting. Obviously, we haven't made any like decisions or anything like that, right? This is the kind of thing that takes a lot of deliberation and RFCs and all of that. But we're definitely something we're thinking about of like, could there be an alternative here?
Yeah. Okay. Here's another question. So Hal has a lot of good questions. What's the difference between a type and an interface? I mean, that's a TypeScript question, not really an Angular question.
I mean, I can answer it.
Go for it.
Interfaces are a variety of type. So an interface is basically describing like a class or an object's interface, right? Like it's specifically a TypeScript object. And it gives you a way of defining that type signature in a way that is like very similar to a class. So we can come over here into this entities that I have, where it's like, okay, here's an interface. I can say it extends this other interface. It has these members. Like writing this is very similar to just writing a class. Whereas a type alias is just saying like, I'm just creating an alias for some other types that already exist, or some combination of those types, right? So I think I have a couple of those in here where I'm just saying like, yeah, interface is actually just an alias of class because they're the same thing for this purpose. Or this method entry here is actually the intersection of a member entry and a function entry, right? It just kind of gives you a convenient way to express any kind of alias. And you can kind of accomplish the same thing, right? Like you could say, pretend interface, and this is equal to an object that has, some member of, string or whatever. And like, it's kind of close to an interface, but the experience of writing it isn't exactly the same. And I think that interfaces are like just tend to be a little bit easier to read and write.
And if you do the type thing though, you don't get to extend for like inheritance though, right? Like in a type definition.
What you would do in that case is you would say like, oh, I have this, and I was like, it's also doc entry, right? And I think this is like just a little bit harder to read and write and understand than the interface way of doing it.
Feels bad.
This is kind of like a lower level way of expressing types.
Yeah, and I always thought of interfaces as a contract between you and, like that word contract has always helped me to like disambiguate. Like, when would I use the interface? When would I use the class? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got some errors you're trying to sort out. Let's see.
So these aren't errors in my test. This is Basil on Windows doesn't want to work. So I might try.
You gotta get WSL working and try this.
I probably should. I've never bothered setting it up. So let's see. I didn't think this all the way through. I probably should have done the coding on my MacBook over here where I know my tests can run. I know there's some people on the team who have this working of like running our build setup on Windows, and I've never done the work to do it. I was hoping it would just work. Let me try real quick. I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned RMRF node modules.
Okay, so while that's running, then let's answer some more questions.
Yeah, what questions y'all got?
They got lots this time. Okay, let's see. Maxim says, "Hey, A team, will Angular DevTools get any more updates? Hope to see a visualization of the DI tree in the extension."
So would we. We'd like to see that too. Maybe we'll see it soon.
I mean, maybe in an upcoming something. Yeah, stay tuned, Maxim. There'll be updates coming around, just this stuff. You may or may not learn more about this.
Yeah, I forgot how slow deleting files is on Windows.
Stop.
This RM is taking forever. I like Windows, right? This is my main PC here, but
yeah. You know what I got into doing, and I didn't realize this. If any of you follow me on any other social media, you find that I do hobby videos or motivational speaking or whatever. And I started editing my videos on my Surface computer, my Microsoft Surface, and it's been a really surprisingly good experience. And then when I'm done with that, I can use my Windows PC the way I like to. So what Patrick says, if you use Angular in native code, you really have to optimize your code with NG Zone and web workers. Complex computation can make your animations UX junky. Oh, Patrick, I think this is a comment related to me saying use something like native script. Is that what you're saying? Sure. This is a sharp edge that we've been thinking about on the team, that the fact that you have to know how to optimize for zones, this is a sharp edge that we hope to solve for. I can't say when, but this is a real thing we're thinking about.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the biggest motivating factors behind why we're working on signals, is because we see kind of a lot of the trade-offs that come with zones and some of the complexities and developer friction that comes along with that. And we think that signals isn't a silver bullet. It doesn't solve every problem and it's magically better in every way, but it creates a different set of trade-offs that we think is going to be a better fit for the majority of developers.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, we did type interface. We answered that question. Let's see. Oh, here's another question. Let's see. What's up, MT? What type is the event for changes for an input element? And why does Angular's language server say it's just an event?
I need to read that question in chat. What is the type for the event for changes? I don't know. That might just be a bug. It should be input event, right? Yeah, might just be a bug. What I do know,
issue.
Yeah, what I do know is that Angular doesn't currently use the built-in TypeScript types for DOM APIs. It has its own definitions because they were created before there were TypeScript types for those. It may have been before Angular was on TypeScript or before those types existed or something like that. But it's just kind of this historical thing that Angular uses its own type definitions for DOM stuff. And it might just be a bug in that.
Yeah. Oh, Mario says, any plans to move away from Webpack?
We are working on an ES build setup for Angular CLI. So that is, I think, already in developer preview or experimental, one of the two.
Experimental, I think. ES build.
Experimental, ES build support in Angular CLI. And that is kind of the long-term vision for Angular CLI, is to move towards that and moving away from Webpack.
Hey, Gabriel, you said, are there any plans to add internationalization? I think that's what it is. To Angular's web. We already support it. So can you use a clarifying question on this? I'm not sure what you're asking about, because we already have IAT and in support for web right now. Can you let us know what you mean? Okay, Josh, developer says, how does module federation look like in ES Build or Vite? How about people who are using it with Webpack already? I don't know the answer to this, actually.
So Mark, I am going to switch over to my MacBook for this because I can't get my unit test to run on my Windows machine.
All right. So while you're switching over, Here's what we'll do. I'll keep answering questions,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll let you get that going.
So I'm going to join
Let's
the
see.
stream.
Dennis says, "Hi, could you suggest an easy way to create component wrappers in Angular? I'm so bored repeating all input outputs in a wrapper." Is this a case for what's your favorite feature, Jeremy, that you've been wanting for so long?
I mean, there's a few.
What's the one that you did the video for?
Host directives.
Host directives. Could you get around that? Like he says he doesn't want to keep wrapping his components, and I wonder if a host directive, because you get access to those inputs from all the components. You know what I mean? Like in that host directive like hierarchy, and then you don't have to repeat them, right? You just you still get them. So I wonder if that's an answer.
I'm gonna share my screen here. Sorry, I've been switching over to my editor on my
Sure.
screen here.
You just let me know when you're ready for that.
Yeah. I'm gonna minimize this,
and then we'll have Kevin put you on whenever you're ready. But you have to let him know. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think host directives is your answer, Dennis, is a way so you don't have to keep.
Yeah, well, let me look at that. What was the question in the chat? Let me read it so I can ingest it properly.
Sure. Could you suggest an easy way to create component wrappers in Angular?
Yeah,
I'm so bored repeating all inputs and outputs.
I don't know what wrapper means. Are you talking about kind of in React, you would talk about props drilling of just saying I have a component and it has some inputs and then I need to pass those down into other inputs and other components and pass those down into other inputs and other components. And if that's the case, you can kind of use, it depends on your situation, but you can take advantage of Angular's dependency injection to kind of get around that instead. Signals is something that will probably make that a little bit easier to deal with because you can store state in services and have those as signals and just consume those from components and their reactivity all just works. Yeah. So if you want, you can go to my screen for this other thing here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen on my Windows device.
Okay.
So I can actually just see you now over here.
Oh, great.
And cool. You can see this here. And let me open a terminal inside of this.
Yeah, as you get that going, why does your WebStorm look so different on this one?
Does it? Does it look different?
This looks fancier to me. I don't know. Will the new SSR, G-Law says, will the new SSR update automatically migrate from Angular Universal? Migrate? What are you talking about? Migrate what?
Yeah, so anything there should be no breakages going from, whatever version, V16 to V17 in terms of SSR. And if anything, if there are breaking changes under the hood, there will be migrations for those. To my knowledge, I don't know of anything that would be breaking you.
Yeah.
What did I call that branch? Type. It was type aliases, right?
Sure. Do you know if any updated, more complete Angular Firebase documentation examples or tutorials on the horizon? I wrote, hey, Steve, first off, what's up, Steve? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. I actually wrote the latest ones that were just updated. I don't know if I'm going to write any new updates anytime soon, so I can't give you any timelines. And I don't know if the Firebase team is going to make any updates around the documentation. I don't know what their timeline is for that, or if they're on the horizon, though. And I can tell you that my horizon is booked right now. I got some stuff going on that you're really going to love, but it means I have to prioritize that for a moment.
Okay, there we go. I didn't actually push it.
Let's see. Alcatraz. Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to read this comment.
Yeah.
Have there been any further discussions on the import hell situation? What is import hell?
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Is that when you import it into your component and then have to import it again, and the component decorator, which you import it into the TypeScript class, and component decorator Alcatraz? Is that what it is? Give me a clarifying question so I can know.
I also have a hot tip is if you use Git and you use a workflow of like you have your upstream and you have your fork, name your fork with your GitHub username so it's unambiguous where you're going. I've always hated that like the default name for remotes on Git is just called origin, which I find really ambiguous. So I always
that's nice, Jeremy. I actually like that.
I always name my remotes here. I have Elbourn and upstream.
Oh, I love that. Okay, friends at home, I'm gonna tell you something else about working with Jeremy that is surprising. Jeremy, actually, I got something I'm gonna show you too if I can find it before our stream is over. But I also want to tell people about working with you is that Jeremy's filled with like tips like this. Sometimes we'll have meetings where we'll just talk about like ways to improve quality of life in different areas. And this is one of the types of things that he's like really good at. So Jeremy, let me show you something. So I got this thing for, we talk about like travel hacks, right?
Yep.
So this is like a semi-hard shell case, but it's a little flexible. But inside is a charger that I love now. And I've been singing the praises of this thing. It's this little like cube charger that you can stretch out. And then it has any type of like Qi charger at the top, another like Qi charger at the bottom. But then if you have an Apple Watch, it has a little pop-out Apple Watch charger at the back. And this thing fits into that little pack so nicely. And I can use one cable to power this thing. And then when I'm on like a business trip, I'm not spending all my time, packing a bunch of cables. So when I leave for a trip, I just have this little thing. This is it. And everything fits in here. One cable, 3 devices charged. And it's really outstanding. So
yeah, that's good stuff. I love my travel. Like I have a little like charger that I bring with me. It has like a plug and it has 3 USB-C ports, a USB-A port.
Yep.
Charge all my devices. Love that thing.
Yep. I tried to get it, I think. No, I tried to get this other charger that you had. No, that is the one, right? The wall charger that you showed me at the last time we were together.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah, I tried to get it, remember? And it was like sold out.
That brand doesn't sell it anymore. I think there's some other brands though that have similar things.
Okay, let's see.
So what's my failure?
Sorry. Yeah, you go ahead and work on that. I'm gonna answer some more questions. Sorry, you two once talked about wanting to address the long list of imports. That's what it was. Yeah, and standalone components now that they declared their dependencies directly.
Yes,
that's it.
So this is something we're very much aware of, right? This is both like a thing in ng modules and in standalone components is that there's this layer of indirection when you want to use a component, right? So in other web frameworks in like React, Vue, Svelte, Solid, when you want to use a component, you import it and then you just use it, right? You import it with like TypeScript import. And we would very much like to move to a model where we enable that over time. We don't, again, like this is, a big change, would be a big change to Angular, and we'll go through, a bunch of design and RC and all of that. But we definitely see that as a long-term goal of Angular to be able to support that kind of usage of components.
Good.
So let's see here. So let's look at why this is failing. So docs.length to be 1. Yeah, sure. Is this giving me a line number? I got 42. 42. It's this one. Okay, the type here is, what is this? Okay, this type is, it should be a string, but it's saying expected this like big object to be string number string. So this is not actually a string, which is surprising. Why aren't you a string? What is this? It's a type node. Okay, so I think I need to just say get text on that. That's probably what I needed. Run it again. Another little tip while we're waiting here is my terminal. I use Starship for my like terminal prompt and like this like all of this nice stuff right here that shows you like what branch am I on and all that. It's a tool called Starship that I really like. Okay, so this failed again.
You know what I have a dream about, Jeremy?
It passed.
I have a dream that we can get shells that are like NVM, but I want an NVM shell. So I want to be able to like quickly switch between almost like a different profile, but within my profile. So that way, if I like bork up my like Linux, like, you know what I mean, structure or something, I'm like, switch to this nice one.
Yeah, I mean, you could do stuff like that today with like tmux and having different configurations. Like it's doable.
But the way I want, it's like anything installed, right? Like I just want to be able to just like, I screwed up this developer environment. I want a fresh one. There are no hidden dependencies someplace, or I can spin up a fresh one and let all my other stuff just be like toast.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know there's a startup out there called like Warp that is making a Rust-based kind of terminal that is meant to be like more like an IDE, where it gives you like autocomplete and like in-terminal like documentation for things you're using, right? Like,
cool.
What if your terminal was more like an IDE? I tried playing around with it like maybe like a year ago, and it was still like pretty early stages. Didn't even work on Windows at that point, but I should check that out again and see what they're up to. All right, Mark, and maybe to chat as well. Like, all right, I've got my one test passing here where I have this type alias. What other tests should I add for type aliases here? Right? What are my edge cases? This is a quiz.
Oh, so I was reading the comments at the same time because somebody said something interesting.
Oops. Oh yeah.
Ovi said it was so fun to see the 100X guys struggling debugging like us mortal devs. Little do they know we are all mortals. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so I apologize. Now ask me the question so I can be ready.
So I've got my one type alias here. What other like edge cases and what other cases should I be looking at? This is like a little quiz for chat and for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see the type alias so you can get number string. Can you do? Let's see. Should you expect it to be that? What else could you get from type alias? What else? Like, what about an undefined? Well, the union type would undefine a number. Well, yeah. I would test it's undefined.
We could do that. We can say, I don't know if I'll keep all of these in the end. I'm going to just change this to fdescribe. So we're running just this suite. Don't need to put that on each int. And should try type aliases, let's say with undefined. So we can say, what is this? Like string, string or undefined, right? And then like all of this would be the same, except that just undefined there, right? And run our tests again. It's going to look like the tests fail, but they actually pass. The test will fail if it has like fit or fdescribe in it.
So you can't push it.
Ooh, look, this actually did fail. So why did this fail? Oh, because I just typed the wrong thing. I wrote
number or string again.
String or undefined.
Yeah, there you go. So I test this testing.
Yeah, but we know that's going to pass now because we just saw the result.
I don't know anything.
I
only know it when I see it.
Undefined. For the most part, undefined is just like any other. So okay, we got 2 dots, that passes. Undefined is just like any other primitive type of like null, string, number, boolean, like function class. All of those things are like basically like the same. There's nothing special about them. Let's see, any other.
What about never?
We could try it. I think I'm just going to change undefined here to like let's just say like I'll just change this to never, because I think this is again just going to be like it's just going to resolve to the same thing.
Yeah, I see. It doesn't really give us. I mean, it's I see.
So yep, that passes. So the thing that I'm actually really interested in testing here is when you have an import from another file, right? So we're going to say like we have another file here. So we'll duplicate that. Come back here. And so we're going to say some class.ts, and we're going to say export class, some class, and it doesn't even need to have anything in it. But we are going to then here say we're going to import some class from, this is just some class. And then we're going to do, we're going to say some class alias just for testing purposes. And we're going to say type of, well, I don't want to say type of, so let's say like const instance equals new some class. And then we're going to say type of instance. Now that's a case we want to test, where we're using the type of operator here. And so here's what I think is going to happen is that the string that I get right here is actually just going to say type of instance. And this is where I need to go back to my code and use the type checker to resolve the type. So let's find out.
Let's see.
So we want this to actually be like
some class, right?
So let's run that and see.
I need to put some fake furniture in my background, by the way, because I'm moving my studio out of my office, and it's a whole thing. How many dots did we get?
Yeah, so this is failed. So we say expected type of instance to be some class. So it failed in exactly the way we predicted. Also, I forgot to change the name of the.
Wait, why does it expect some class to be super number?
Oh, because I just didn't change the name of this type in my test.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
So yeah, now let's go fix this by going to the type alias extractor.
Kevin sent me a message and said, for my background, we should order me a new sign. Kevin, if that happens, you just know I expensed it because I can't afford it. I was just kidding. That would be cool to get a neon sign. That would be fun. All right, let's go to this type extractor. Yeah.
Okay, so I think what we can do here is we say this dot, or not this dot, just we have the type checker dot get resolved signature of this declaration dot type. All right, it doesn't like that type. What does it want here? It wants a call like expression, so that's not what we want. I'm going to go reference, what did I do for constants? I store all of my knowledge in other code that I've written. So we did here, get base type of literal type. So what do we do? Oh, type checker get type at location. That's what we want. So type get type at location, and then we're going to say declaration dot type. And I think that's what we want. Let me double check that. Type checker get base type. Yeah, we don't want this get base type of literal type, because that has been very much a constant thing. Because like I needed this for constants, right? Because you would say the type here is like, you would say const pi equals 3.14. And TypeScript has this feature where it will like actually narrow that by default to the type literal 3.14.
Oh, yeah.
Which is useful, except when you're doing API reference extraction and you want to say it's just a number. So yeah, I think this will do what we want. So let's try running our test. Oops, running our test again. I'm not used to using my terminal inside of WebStorm like this. I normally have a separate one.
Somebody asked, how can you use env variables? Wait, let's see. I don't want to distract us, but I do want to answer that question.
Oh, no, it's even more broken.
So you got two Fs.
Oh, I forgot to again say like get
string.
No. What did I do for constants? Resolve type here was a ts.type, and I said, oh, type checker.type to string. Okay. So this is type checker.type to string.
Okay, Jeremy, I'm going to ask you an engineering practices question. So right now, You're doing a lot of work on line 16. Not a lot, but it's multiple steps,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's exactly something I was going to do next. I was about to say, like, I don't like how complicated this expression is.
Okay, good. All right.
But I wanted to see if it passed first before I refactored it out.
You're right. That's right. I was like,
So
it
almost passed.
yeah, super number to be. I think you typed the wrong thing probably.
No, I'm actually not sure about that. So expected super number.
You see, because it says number or string, but you shouldn't, right? It should be the class name.
Well, let's go back to the test, right? And so for this very first one, this is interesting, right? Because we are documenting the type itself. I think this is probably a decision that needs to be made, that I need to make, about how we actually want to document this stuff. Let's go find, I'm just going to look real quick. You can see my thing here, right? Where's my browser window?
Yeah. All right, so we can see your entire computer screen. So.
Yeah, I know.
Just keep that in mind. That's all.
I don't know where my browser window is. So I'm just going to look over here and you won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go look at our API reference for Angular today and say, how do we actually document these types today? So,
all right, you look up that, and then I'm going to see if I can answer any questions while we're waiting.
Interesting. So we actually do kind of get the whole. So these are all like objects. Do we have any
standalone components are great? Hey, the Petco is good. Thank you. We think they're great as well. So use them. Thanks so much.
Oh, interesting. Signal is a type alias. I'm trying to find a type alias that's not. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I'm just found message ID is an example where we do this. And so what's happening with this is that it's kind of circuitously resolving super number to itself, if that makes sense, right? We're seeing number or string, and then we're saying to get the type at that location, and it's resolving it to super number because that is the type at that location. So I think we're close to running out of time here. So the next step for me is to poke around the TypeScript type checker APIs a little bit more and see if there's a way for me to kind of get the base type here. And maybe what I want is to actually do exactly the same thing that I did for constants. So let's try that real quick.
Yeah, try it. And then if that doesn't work, let's spend the last couple of minutes with a lightning round on some questions.
So get base of literal type. I'm just going to try that and see what happens. I don't know that that's what I want. So yeah, this is going to be real complicated for a second. Let's try that and see what it prints out. Oh boy, gotta stop doing that.
I'm going to try the star shit thing too. That looks really nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Someone asked here, what's the setup to run these tests? This is all with Bazel. On the Angular repo, we use Bazel. Yeah. So yeah, this did what I want for one of the tests, but still this like number or string one still failed.
Can you explain to me why the number or string one is failing?
So yeah, what's happening is the way I want this to show up in the documentation is that if we have something like if we have like something like this in our documentation,
yep,
I want it to show as type super number equals number or string, right? That's how we want it to be documented, to say like this is the type signature of this thing.
I see.
But what this is returning is like saying the type of super number is super number, because that's what the type resolution is returning. So
we export it as a type, but wasn't that working before we changed it to support the imported class stuff?
Yes, and so what I might have to do here is actually special case. If there's like a type of or some sort of expression in there, like it's a little bit more complicated than just like always doing one thing. And so that's what I have ahead of me maybe this afternoon, is figuring out how I want to tackle this.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's do just like a quick run of some lightning round questions, and then I got mountains of things to do, so we can't stay long today, friends. So we'll just answer some questions. Let's see if we can get through some of these. Let's see. Pablo says, "Hi. Any news in the Angular material supporting Material 3?"
We are working on it. I'm trying to find where my StreamYard is so I can stop sharing my screen if Kevin, you want to just pull my screen out of the broadcast.
That's covered.
The team is working very hard on it. If you go and like look over on the components repo on GitHub, like it's our number one priority and the thing where we're like working on the hardest. I will always kind of avoid giving concrete ETAs on a live stream here, but I will say it's the thing we're working the hardest on for components.
Okay. This is a kind of a practical question, but I think worth answering because somebody might have this. So question is about using .env environment variables in my Angular app, and I feel like, isn't there a way to just tie in the env, what do you call that package, and then link it into your environment.ts and just run it that way?
I think there's a way to do it. I mentioned earlier that I basically know very little about the inner workings of Angular CLI, and this falls into that category.
Yeah, but I think you can do that because the environment.ts is.
Oh, we lost him again. You almost made it to the end, Mark. You almost made it.
Now my project for the rest of this month is going to be to get a hard wire to this room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just have to figure that out. Like, yeah, I can't go through this over and over again. Anyway, I was saying I think you can do, because it's a TypeScript file. I think you could just use the env package, import, and then fill in the gaps there. I think you can do that. That's my suspicion. Somebody correct me in the comments if you can't do it. Let's see. I think we got time for one more. Let's see. Okay, we talked about that already. Okay, here you go. I think we'll end on this one. And friends, don't worry. This is not the last time you get a chance to talk to us. If you have questions, otherwise, hold on. I'm sorry. Buddy. Hi, puppy.
I can answer those.
Right. I don't like my kids to be on stream, so
yeah. But so yeah, there's someone's here saying like there's a fear among some folks that Angular is moving in the direction of making everything functional instead of using classes. Hopefully that's not actually the case. I think that's a little reductive, right? Like functions versus classes is like a lens through which I would think about it. What I will say is that like we know classes are like a very foundational part of what a lot of people like about Angular, and I wouldn't expect them to ever go away. And you can even see like in React, right? Like React had classes for a long time, and it's not the current like default way of doing things, but it is still a thing that is supported. And this is not to say that like we are even like doing something else. What I will say is we know that there are a lot of friction points with the component authoring experience today. And that is in several areas. And some of that it is actually kind of boilerplatey to refactor a large component into smaller components, right? And so that as a concrete friction point is something we want to address. And we know that the level of indirectness for imports that we talked about earlier, of like you have to import something once in TypeScript and then import it again into your component or your entry module, like doing that twice, that is also a friction point, and we would like to resolve that. And there's a few other things. I won't enumerate everything, but we know like there are these very clear friction points in the developer experience, and we want to evolve that component authoring experience over time in order to reduce those friction points. And there are a lot of options that are on the table for that, right? And one of the options that is on the table for that is looking at alternate component syntaxes, right? So it's classes today, but you see in other frameworks, there are kind of function-based components, there are single file components, and maybe other things as well, right? Maybe there is just like a config object. I don't know. I'm just making things up. But even within those different categories, there are different gradations of what that construct even means, right? So for if you had, using the function syntax as a component declaration, you have kind of the React model of this is a function that runs every time the component renders versus, a different model where like a function is a declaration or setup function that does not get run repeatedly. And all of these things are, things we're trying to be very aware of, like what is the ecosystem doing? What are people familiar with? But I think that like the real kernel of this question is like the word fear, right? Of like fear that you will not be using the latest thing or not be using a supported thing. And we very much hear that, right? We know people get attached to certain ways of doing things, and it's not our intention ever to try to cause churn to developers, right? It's really around trying to find solutions to what we see as very real friction points in the developer experience and how we can make that better while also still like not breaking the world.
All right. So someone said next stream we should do building signal components. We can experiment with some APIs on stream. That sounds good. Somebody said, are we live? Yeah, we're live. Wait, is this live? Yes, we are. No, this is real. See, I could not have done that if we were not live. If this was pre-recorded, I could not have pulled your comment up.
Yeah. And if you're watching the recording, it was live.
It was live. Wow. Okay, friends. I think that's it. This is a very busy time for the Angular team, and we got to. Am I frozen again?
You're fine.
Did I freeze?
You're fine.
I'm going to fix my internet for the next time. But anyway, for now, first time I've ever had this issue. For now, let's just say, do us a favor, friends. Do something for us. Actually, wait. We're not going to end that quick. Jeremy, plug something that you're interested in.
Plug something that I'm interested in. I finished Baldur's Gate 3.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna do the ending different though. I didn't like the ending I got, so I'm gonna like try a different one.
Now you got to start it over again with different characters.
That's later. I'll do that way later and do a second run.
We're on our
second replay the ending and make some different choices.
Kevin, you plug something that you're interested in.
Goodness. Play the new Cyberpunk expansion. I'm sure it's great. I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
Wait, so which thing is this?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah, I haven't played it yet.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. What I'm interested in is video production. That's the thing that I'm working on lately. That's super interesting to me. This is not my cinema camera. I have like a Sony FX3, and so I'm really interested in learning how to shoot in different film modes, like log and everything. So that's what I'm interested in. So like learn on YouTube how to use cameras. That's fun to me. Anyway, friends, all right, I think that'll wrap this stream. Hey, everyone who submitted a question, a comment, or just anything, we are so happy that you've been a part of our community. And thank you. The next live event that you'll see us may or may not be in November. And I think that whatever comes up live in November, I think you really want to be there. So stay tuned to our social channels. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. Keep an eye out on our YouTube. And really go build great apps, because guess what we're going to do? We'll see you the next time, friends. Hey, you all take good care. Okay, to end the stream too.